Now it's time to start a discussion about if statements, but first I'm going to create a new file. So I'm going to click on the left hand side on project, make sure that hello world folder is selected, right click on the hello world folder, go to new, and we select a Python file. I'm going to call this file up. Now I'm going to hide the project pane because I don't need the project pane, and also going to close the challenge file because I don't need that file. Now, what is an if statement? An if statement is used when you want to control the flow of the program. And what is the flow of the program? The flow of the program is how your code is usually executed, and usually your code by default is executed from top to bottom. So every line of the code is executed one by one. But with an if statement, what you can do is you can impose a condition, and only if that condition is true, you can execute a particular section of code. Otherwise, you can omit that particular section of code, or you can execute another particular section of code. So with if statements, you can make the computer to decide when to execute a particular section of code and when to ignore that particular section of code. So let's see how we can use an if statement. And first I'm going to create a variable here called age, and I'm going to get the input from the user. But I'm going to convert this age into an int because by default, you know that the input method, the input function is going to return only a string. It will treat whatever we type as string. So you need to convert first that into an int. So I'm going to put int parentheses, and then I'm going to type input, and I'm going to type here enter your age. Next, now to use an if statement, we go down here and we type if, so the if keyword, and now I'm going to check if age, and now the condition, if age is greater than or equal to, let's say 18, only then and only then I'll put something in the console. So we put colon, and now we need to, if I press enter, it move to the next line, and it also indented the next line by 4 spaces. And Python is using indentation to indicate when a new block of code is created. So if I type here print, and I'm gonna output in the console you are eligible to vote. If I add another print here, please enter X in the ballot. As you can see, the second line of code, please enter the X in the ballot, is indented with the same space like the first line, because all the lines of code which are coming below of this column that we have here are going to be executed in this, they're going to be grouped together in the same block of code. And as you can see on the left hand side here, we have this gray outline, and if you click on this minus, it will collapse the line of code which is part of the if statement. So as you can see, it collapses all of that because that is part of the if statement, is the block of code of the if statement. So if the if statement is true, so if the condition is true, then it will execute the block of code which is and the Python, as I said, is using indentation to create a new and to indicate that a new block of code is executed. Now, if I want to go outside the block of code of the if, now let's say that I'm going to put an else part. So if the condition is false, so I'm going to put backspace. So you go at the start of the at the start, and we type here else, and we put colon, and now when I press enter, again it indented, it moved to the next line, and it indented the line by the 4 spaces. So now I can type here print you, let's say you can't vote, please come in, and here I'm gonna type plus, I'm gonna type str to convert into a string. So I'm gonna type here now an int. So actually I'm gonna type here age, actually I'm gonna type here 18 minus age. Now if I run this, look what happens. First it's asking me for age, and I'm gonna type here, let's say 18. I'm gonna press enter, and now it says you are eligible to vote, please enter X in the ballot. So now when the program executed this line of code, it evaluated the condition, which is age, and that is an expression. It returns either true or false. So it evaluated that condition if age is greater than or equal to 18 to true, and the block of code after the colon, so the block of code indicated by the indentation here, is that we have those line of code, the print you are eligible to vote and please enter X in the ballot. So if I add another print line here, as you can see, it's added at the same level like the previous line. So all the code, all this code is going to be executed together, because I'm going to type here let's say something, not something specific. So now if I run this, and I'm going to type 18 again, I'm going to type 18, it says you are eligible to vote, please enter X in the ballot and something. So the code which comes after the colon, which is indented by 4 spaces, this code is all part of the if part. So if the if statement, this code belongs to the if. So if this condition is true, all that code is going to be executed. Else, so now if I run this code again, let's say, and I'm going to put here 9, so you're not eligible to vote. Now if I press enter, it executed the else part. So it's saying, hey, if because you're not eligible to vote, you can't vote, please come in 9 years. So now the else part was executed, because the if part was evaluated to false. We enter a value which is less than 18, so that condition fails, and the block of code, which is just a few print statements, is not executed, and it's executing the block of code of the else. And as you can see, the else also indented the line of code, indented the code by 4 spaces. This is indicative that that code is part of the else. So if I add another print here, as you can see, when I press enter, it immediately put this code on the next line. So if I put here a print, as you can see, this is also indented by 4 spaces, and we have this minus, which we can use to collapse the code. So if I press this, you can collapse the code here, and you can collapse the code also here. Now if I delete this, and this is the if statement. Now as you can see, when I press backspace, it goes at the beginning of the line of code. So in the next video, I'm gonna look at the else if. So how we can evaluate more conditions, not just the if and else. So we can add another condition here, like else if